You're shivering. Are you cold, baby?
Yeah.
To be the hero. We all aspire to that, right? But we spend so much of our days going through the motions, numbing ourselves from the pain, distracting ourselves from the pressure, going from one day to the next, without any direction or any purpose. As humans, we tend to see things through the lens of what we know, and in today's day and age with technology and social media in particular, we view things through a narrow lens. We don't see the whole picture, or you could say, the whole timeline. This is why I love movies so much. They tell the whole story instead of the little highlights of life that leave the audience jealous instead of inspired. But just like with movies compared to social media content, you need to have patience when watching. Sometimes you just need to back up and view your life as a whole story that's still unfolding rather than the climax of the story always being where you are right now. Personally, going from 1 to 2 kids has been a lot harder on my wife and I than we expected. The lack of sleep, the lack of time with each other, the lack of time for ourselves, the constant need for self-sacrifice day after day. It's not something I was entirely prepared for, if I'm being completely honest. But if I ever get to the end of my rope, I have to remember, my life is a story, but I am right now only living in a singular moment. I can only go through one chapter at a time, and that chapter might be sad, or stressful, or even disappointing, but it's not the only chapter in the book. Why should we even look at our lives like a story? How would that even help us? At its core, a story is a structured way humans communicate meaning, emotions, and experiences. It's how we make sense of the world, process emotions, and connect with one another. And every story, whether it's in books, movies, or personal experiences, follows a structure and has key elements that make it impactful. There's always a protagonist, or the main character, and that main character has a goal and motivation. But in order to achieve the goal, the main character must overcome conflict. And that's the part of our story we can so easily give up on when we don't realize that we are in a story. But what if we instead zoom out of the current moment and recognize that we are in a conflict part of our story? And on the other side, as long as we keep fighting, is the light. Going through year after year of battling depression doesn't just mean I am a depressed person, period, end of story. Yeah, it's part of the story, but it's not the whole thing. Now that I'm on the other side of that conflict, it means I can help others who struggle with depression through what I've learned in my journey. It means that I now understand that my personality type that gives me depressive tendencies is also my superpower when it comes to art and creativity. I can feel deeply through art, and I can help others feel deeply through art as well. And I'm grateful that God gave me that gift. If you take away one thing from this video, please take away this. The hero isn't the hero because he's the main character. The hero is the hero because he puts others' needs before his own. Desmond Doss is the hero in Hacksaw Ridge because he risked his life to save his fellow brothers in battle. William Wallace in Braveheart gets brutally murdered fighting for the freedom of his fellow countrymen. Or even in A Quiet Place, Lee Abbott, in one of my favorite scenes in any movie, lets himself get killed by the monster to save his children. So, as the main character of your own story, do you have a goal or motivation to work towards? Desmond Doss had the goal of saving lives in battle, not ending them. William Wallace had the goal of his fellow countrymen living in freedom without fear. And Lee Abbott was motivated to protect his family by his deep love for them. Now, the Quiet Place example is clearly a 100% fake story, but the other two movies are based off of real people. Now, I'm obviously not saying to go get yourself killed or nearly killed to prove yourself a hero, but do take serious inventory of your life while looking through this lens. Zoom out a bit and notice where you are in your story. Identify ways you can actually become the hero through doing what most people are unwilling to do. The right thing.
Here you go, sweetie.
Like I mentioned earlier, as a new father, I'm challenged often. More often in different ways than I anticipated before becoming a parent. But daily, I have to keep doing the hard thing because it's the right thing. And I know that once this chapter's over, I'm going to look back at this part of my story with the fondest memories. Maybe even wishing for a chance to go back and relive it, just for a moment.